Well, guys, it is apple picking time. Finally, you heard me talk about that lack of apple juice. We finally got a day that it's not quite 20 degrees, but still sunny and dry. So we're going to tackle it. We've got lots of buckets. We're going for at least 20 gallons here full of apples. Let's hope that there's still some back there because it's been a while. So we're going to take you back to the pastures. And apple picking is always a full family affair. Everybody participates in apple juice making because everybody drinks juice. So the tree that I'm standing underneath is a tree that we are trying to look after because it has beautiful apples, and every year it gives us just a couple more. And take a look at this one. Look at that. Gonna take it off. It's a beauty. In the end, what I'm hoping for is a nice eating apple tree by pruning it and having the sheep clean it up underneath. So far, it's looking good.
So this one's not going to make it to the apple juice because it's kind of yucky on the one side. But nice part of having all these trees is you can eat them.
And I already taste tested that one. Now it's Chris's turn. Are they not the best ones we have on the property?
They're very, very good.
And that, my friends, is why we are attempting to look after this tree. And it has a lot more pruning to go, but we didn't want to shock it with too much in one year. So this winter we'll take some more off the top and hopefully it'll just get better and better. So here we have our target tree. This is the tree that we call the Tiny Tim tree. It produces these delightfully sweet, firm little green apples. And the kids have already been busy picking up stuff that's been on the ground.
Eating them.
Or eating them, yes, as James says. Now, this tree makes our best apple juice. So every year we usually get about 2 buckets at least from this tree. Really hoping for that again, but I'll show you in a second here. There's a few other trees that are very promising in this same pasture actually. This tree here is loaded with gorgeous red apples. I've yet to try them, but that's promising for juice for sure. All right, let's pick one and we'll do a taste test. Nice size, not too big, not too small. A little tart, but they would make juice. And clean inside, no wormies. That's also a really big perk, especially when these aren't a tended orchard. As you can probably see, these trees are big, tall trees. Their apples always sit at the top because that's the spot that gets the most sun. So really our only option is to shake them. All right, James, show them your technique. We weren't able to shake the tree, so we found a long branch and we're just hitting what we can. So hopefully we have a bucket full at least. Still a lot up there though. We've done what we can. There's still a ton of apples on this tree, but lots in the ground. So that's what we mean about the Tiny Tim. They're like little plum-size apples and they are so clean and crisp inside. It's wonderful. No idea what the actual variety is. Like I say, most of this is all wild apples. All right, we are back at the farmyard with all of our apples. We got those 2 Superstore crates filled up, plus 2 5-gallon buckets. Only one with the Tiny Jim tree apples. Little disappointed with that, but there's still a whole bunch more up there. They just didn't want to fall for us. So I guess that means we'll be making more. But we even managed to bring back a few treats for the ponies because you can't forget about them. They love apple season. So now we're on hold until tomorrow morning when it's cooled off and the wasps aren't around, and we're going to plunge ahead with washing, chopping, pressing, and canning all this apple juice. So here we are now into day 3 of processing apples. Now we've already done 1 batch, basically same amount as what we have now, one of those blue, shopping buckets and a 5-gallon pail. We're now going to process those Tiny Jim apples. And the nice thing about them is they're little, they're easy to cut up, they very rarely have any worms or any issues. Not that we had much of that this time on the first round. So super pleased with that. The kids were amazingly helpful. And this right here is why we love to do this job when the kids are here, because we have helpers. Right now, Alex and James are cutting these in half, making sure there's no wormies and that these are good to go for some juice making. Chris got it all processed.
So the next part of this whole process is to come outside, and we need to use our little electric wood chipper to basically break up the apples into something that we can then put through the fruit press, because you can't just put the apples, this press doesn't have enough power to just put the apples in and press it out. But when you chopped it up in the wood chipper, you end up with like apple shreds, and it really presses well.
I know many of you guys have also followed us over on Hickory Croft Farm, and you've seen this process before and you've seen these machines, but this is something that we do every year, and that's something that I really want to portray on Pantry Living and Hickory Croft. This is the lifestyle we have. This is how we get our apple juice, and if we don't do this, we don't got apple juice. It's just Chris and I today, so let's see how productive we can be. At least we've ironed out the kinks with the first round, so it should be pretty smooth sailing, knock on wood. So 11 jars from the first batch. Let's see what we can get from our Tiny Jim batch. So you guys know us, we like to weigh everything, we like to track what we harvest. We did that yesterday for this first batch of 11 jars. 53 pounds of apples is what we processed to get those 11 jars. I think we have a little bit more than that for this batch, so I'm really hoping we get at least 12, because I'd like to at least put 24 jars in the pantry from this round, because we're going to have to do another round, because you saw 9 jars left. That is not good enough. On our wood chipper, which we use to kind of shred these up, the hole's only so big. So basically we are cutting in half all the apples, and that makes them the right size to go through, and also gives us the opportunity to check the insides just to make sure that there's no wormies in there, because we don't want wormies in our juice. And I know the juice that comes from the store probably has wormies in it, but that's the beauty of making something yourself. You can be very particular about what goes in it. We've got our buckets here ready to go, the 2 5-gallon buckets plus the extras, a little bit more than last time. So here's hoping. Now we got to get her into the chipper, get it chipped up, and get it into the press before the wasps come. So we may be pushing this to the max here. I'm getting out the blocks now. We're going to push this down, and hopefully we'll get all of this apple in here. We definitely went with probably more closer to 2.5 buckets, knowing that it might not fit, but I think we'll make it. So we got it pushed down. We're going to squeeze in that last bit, but the juice is already pouring. So with the amount of apples in there, that's way less Jenga blocks than the first round. We have our apples all in here. We went with all those red skin ones. Chris is putting on those top plates. And then here comes what I was talking about with these blocks. And this is why you have to do a certain amount. Otherwise, you can't press it. It's kind of like Jenga. You gotta give a little push. But look what's happening over here. Hang on. Ooh. I hear it. Look at that. And you just keep stacking and stacking. And then the top one, you can see those little grooves in there. It goes so that it goes around the little spirally thing in the center. I'm sure there's a technical term for that. Spoke. Axle. And now the magic happens. We're just starting to see it. Oh, here it comes. It's still really dark, but that's just because it is so warm. Moment of truth. Gorgeous. Yeah. That's those Tiny Jim, Tiny Tim, whatever we want to call them, are so much better apple juice than the red apples. This is our look after it tree. Definitely liquid gold. So that's scrunched down by half, which is pretty impressive. Chris used some real, not elbow grease, but manpower in that, didn't you? And now we're going to put this into buckets. And it's going to be fed to the sheep. Nothing wasted around here. We do also make apple scrap vinegar and things like that with this, but honestly, you can't use it all for that purpose because there's so much mass here. This is not the last batch of juice that we're going to do, and to be honest, I'm actually going to try making proper apple cider vinegar, which is made with pressed juice, not scraps. So I'm excited for that. We're going to do that hopefully in a video coming up here soon, provided it cools off, because today battling the wasps was not pleasant. So we've got some here. We're going to take this inside and we're going to get it canned up and see what we managed to produce this weekend for apple juice. Next step is filtering all of this through our little, I don't know, It's a handy little thing that clips on the side and has a mesh on the bottom. Probably some sort of technical term for that. But we're going to get this all filtered. Nice thing is I know this pot is a 12-liter pot. So hopefully we fill her right up. So there we have all filtered and ready to go onto the stove. And you can see we are super close to that top of the pot. So definitely getting the 11 liters for sure again. Now, many of you know this is one of my favorite canning books. And this is also the book that I use for my apple juice. And in it, it says 190. We got to bring this to 190 and keep it there for 5 minutes. And then all we do is jar it up and get it into the canner for 10 minutes. That's it for 1 quart or liter jars. Now, one thing that is different in here is they don't press the juice. They actually cook the apples with a bit of water and then strain it and cool it. But we really love the fresh pressed juice. But I follow all the same things as far as temperatures and times as what they say in here for their apple juice. It is time to can this up. We've been at 190 for about 4 minutes, so we're just about ready. I actually had to turn it right off because it was just getting hotter and hotter, and it's held its temperature. Water bath canner, heated up but not quite boiling yet, so that's ready to go. You don't want to put those hot jars into cold water because you could run the risk of them breaking. So sterilize jars because this is only going into the canner for 10 minutes, so it does have to be sterilized. Let's get this canned up. I'll bring you back when we find out how many we made. And you want about a 3/4 inch headspace on there, which is just about perfect. And we've got our soaked and heated lids. There we go. I usually do kind of finger tight. I don't crank it tight. And then into the canner it goes and on to the next one. Well, this is the second batch today to go through the canner. We did get 12 jars, but we had a disaster. And this does happen from time to time because you can have a weak jar or anything, but one broke, so it smells like beautiful apple juice in the air, but unfortunately that means we lost one of our jars. But wait till I show you the color. It's so beautiful. So with that broken jar, we've ended up with 22. Unfortunately, only 21 get to go into the pantry because one of them did not seal. Now it did seal when I pushed on it, but I've got it marked. It's going to go into the fridge and we're going to drink that one up first. But hey, we like to have an apple juice treat anyways because it's juice season and it's fresh, and why wouldn't we, right? So in my book where I write everything down for canning this year, I have entered the 22 jars that we made so far in this batch. As I said earlier, we'd really love to have one per week. So that's 52. So we definitely have to keep going. Add this to the 9 that we still have from last year down there. We've got 30 jars. So it's a good start, but we need to keep moving. So next weekend, if it's cool enough, we're going to try and tackle another batch. But we won't bore you with the details. I'll just come back with our wrap up of what we've canned this year video, and we'll find out if I actually got this apple juice done. But for now, I'm going to start putting some stuff away, get it off the table. I'm going to do some quilting for a little while. Hope you guys have a great day.